So we've already talked about set point, which is the weight that your body wants to be, which is why when you diet and you lose 10 kilos, you stop dieting, you put those 10 kilograms back, you put on exactly 10 kilos because your body wants to get to its set point. We've talked about how insulin can lower that set point, and insulin, to lower insulin, you lower your refined carbohydrate, your sugars, and to some extent your complex carbohydrate intake. So we're going to talk about other ways to lower your insulin today. So while you're not eating, you don't make insulin. And so while you're not eating, your insulin levels are lower. And that's where the concept of intermittent fasting comes. So intermittent fasting means not eating for periods of between, say, 10 and 16 hours a day, and eating all your food in a, say, 8 to 12 hour window, and that's called time-restricted eating. That sort of eating pattern is actually the pattern that people have had throughout the ages. So in the late 1800s or early 1900s, people ate 3 times a day. So they had breakfast at 8 or 9, they'd have lunch if they were lucky enough to have enough food, and then they'd have dinner at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night, and then they'd spend 15 hours without food, so that they were fasting. Now we, in our modern era, we eat apparently we eat 7 times a day, so we never give our insulin levels a rest. So if you do try intermittent fasting, you'll find that your set point does drop. You find that during the fasting time you're not hungry, and hopefully that will lead to weight loss. Now, the second way that we can lower our insulin levels is by exercising. So this is an indirect way of lowering insulin levels. So when you exercise, you improve your insulin sensitivity, which means that you need less insulin to do the same job. And as such, your insulin levels lower, set point lowers, weight lowers. So that's the end of my talk today. Now, usually when I talk about weight to patients, I take about 40 minutes. So we've done just 3 very short talks. So I hope it hasn't been too overwhelming, but hopefully it's given you something to think about. Anyway,